Human elephant conflicts. Recently, just today morning only, I've read a news in which it stated on 25th, okay, of this month, there was a human elephant conflict in the Assam, Morilong or something area of Assam, okay, where elephants were passing by in a particular area, and the villagers, they were teasing the animals, the elephants. And initially the elephants were passing away very calmly, okay, they were crossing the road very calmly, but as a result of the teasing, one of the elephant got angry, okay, and it killed one of the villagers. So with this we can take an example that if a particular group of animals is following its own path, its own corridor, then we should not hamper, we should not tease any particular animal, be it monkey, be it snake, be it lizards, mountain lizards especially, or elephants, okay. That means we should live in harmony with the other animals as well. Not only animals, among human beings also we should live in harmony. If we tease particular person, out of 10 individual, one of the individual may react, and that reaction will be very much drastic, okay. So human elephant conflicts, okay, mainly arises due to poaching for ivory, that is the composition of the tusks of elephant, okay, habitat loss, fragmentation, alternation of habitat, right, forest fires under the natural conditions, okay, exploitation of forest resources by humans, depleted food resources, okay. This sort of factors lead rise to the human elephant conflicts. And we know elephant moves in a distinct patterns, okay, they follow a particular pattern of movement so that they can cover the entire area in which they are living, okay. So we should make a corridor for them so that we should not encroach that particular corridor, so that they can move easily along with it, okay. So you can see most of the time the elephants become very much angry, and they go in conflicts with the human populations. Most of the time they come in search of food, they may come in deep inside our territory as well. And we human beings, as a result of economical greed, okay, and rise in population, what we do, we encroach their area. So this leads us to various type of conflicts. Next is your crop raiding. Crop raiding means the wild animals damaging the plant crops cultivated by human beings, okay, either by feeding or by trampling on them, okay. And this is a major concern in most of the major crops producing area of our country, okay. Mostly the blackbuck, chital, sambar, nilgai, monkey, bears and wild boars participate in this type of activity. So it's in response to the crop raiding, the farmers, they follow various measures, okay, ranging from shooting to fencing to poisoning. And very recently in the news we have heard about an elephant being fed with a explosive, okay, inside a pineapple, okay. It is a story of Tamil Nadu. So this sort of measures are being followed by the animals to keep away the wild animals from raiding their crops. You can see when the wild animals raids the crops, a number of the crops are being destroyed as you can see in the first picture below the map, okay. Then the elephants, they come into the paddy growing areas, okay, because elephants, they feed on the grass, and in the paddy areas they get both the grass and the water, okay. And you can see the monkeys stealing corn, so this sort of activities occurs. And the nilgai invading a particular crop area, the people returning to shooting activities, okay, that is shooting of the nilgai, you can see in the picture, lower left picture. And the crackers being used to repel the elephants, okay. So this sort of activities are being followed by the people to prevent crop raiding by different animals. So human wildlife conflicts, just to summarize, what are the reasons, the results and solutions of this conflict? So the reasons are mostly deforestation, loss of habitat, there is loss of the living places, decline in the prey, okay, that is decline in the natural food of the for the wild animals, injured or old animals, okay, or teased animals also we can add one more point to it, okay. Mostly they are very much they get very much ferocious and angry, okay. Growing human populations, obviously accidental encounters like I said, stamping upon snake or something while walking, reduction or in food resources, okay. These are all the reasons for human wildlife conflicts, as well as encroachment of the natural wildlife area, okay. Suppose I have said that the wild elephants, they move in a particular pattern, so let us make a corridor for them so that they can easily pass through that area, okay. Why go and encroaching that particular area and teasing the elephants, okay. This will result in a negative conflict, obviously. Then results, what are the results of this such conflicts? Crop damage, obviously, as a result of crop raiding, crop damage occurs. Animal deaths as a result of illegal hunting and killing, okay, or poaching, and loss of human lives, okay, as a result of various encounters, okay. Counteractive measures, the animals tends to defend themselves by killing the human beings, okay. Injury to people, obviously, injuries to wildlife, livestock depredation, and possible species extinction. If the species is being killed to a larger extent, then obviously the species may get extinct from that particular area. Now, what are the solutions? Few of the solutions listed here are fencing. Fencing may be done in many ways. You can use the natural barriers, but most of the time they don't work, okay. And you can use these wires, simple normal wires for fencing, okay. You can wear the thorny wires or wires with the spikes for fencing, or very recently there is an advanced type of fencing, that is solar fencing, under which the fencing produces some amount of jhatka, that is the shock, okay, and which prevents the animals from entering in the particular area. As well as in some cases they are fitted, the particular fence is fitted with a light as well as sound, okay. Whenever, and there is a sensor, infrared sensor, whenever it senses any animal coming near it, first opens up the light, okay, and then it produces a sound to just prevent that particular animal from entering into the territory. Land use planning, obviously the term land use refers to the way you are using a particular land, okay. So if you need to use a particular land, first and foremost you need to study about the wildlife prevailing over that area, okay, and the ecology of that particular area, the niche of each of the individual species, and then you need to think about whether to utilizing it or not, okay. You can see a very beautiful example of land use planning is in the lower right picture. There is a highway, okay, in between the forest, okay. You can see there is a corridor built in between, okay, just like a bridge type. It is built, okay, in between the road. This particular corridor is being used by the animals, okay, for crossing from one part of the forest to the other part of the forest. So this sort of land use planning helps to reduce the conflicts. So avoid stepping out after the dark. Obviously, after the dark, most of the nocturnal animals, out of which mostly are the mostly are the flesh eaters type, okay, they come out, okay. So just there is a line that is prevention is better than cure. So if we don't come face to face, or don't go and interact with, don't go and present ourselves, okay, unintentionally in front of the wild animals, obviously such conflicts will not arise, isn't it? Then repellents, most of the repellents are like using some sort of things such as the egg yolk and the egg albumen mixing with the water, and the shells crushing it, okay, the crushing of the cells and mixing it into the water, okay. This mixture spray, and the spraying of this mixture in the crops or in and around the particular area prevents the wild animals from entering. Mostly the plant eaters, it repels the plant eaters from entering that particular area. In our house also, we used to use that cockroach chalk, that cockroach chalk it acts as a physical barrier, okay, preventing the cockroach from entering in the inside the demarcated line. So same thing can be done by using repellent, okay. As for example, like I stated, a mixture of egg, shells, albumin and yolk in water, okay, and spraying that mixture in and around the area where your crops is being cultivated, okay. This will prevent the wild animals from entering, mostly the herbivores, from affecting your crops. So these are some of the measures, some of the reasons and some of the results of man wildlife conflicts. Next is your biological invasions, okay. The term introduction, biological invasion, refers to the introduction of a non-native species, that is, which are alien for us, that is outsiders, we can say, okay, accidentally or unintentionally or intentionally, okay, which in turn hampers the native species, is termed as biological invention. That is very to be very simple and precise, biological invention refers to the introduction of a alien species into a particular area which affects the native species, okay. The introduced plant or animal species first it interferes with the food, okay, food web, it consumes the nutrients, it hampers the growth of the other native species, okay. So mainly they are responsible for these three outcomes. First, interfering with the food web. Second is consuming the nutrients of that particular area and hampering the growth of the native species, okay. In this regard, the exotic species or the alien species or the invasive species is termed as to be harmful for a particular ecosystem, okay. Since they have minimum or no predators, the large numbers are found to affect the total community structure of that ecosystem in which the species is introduced. Obviously, if in a particular area some grass is invading, okay, some exotic grass is invading, obviously, and there is no predator, that is, there is no herbivore for that particular grass, then the entire grass will spread. The spreading of the grass will take place in the entire region, isn't it? And much of the nutrients will be absorbed by the grass, hampering the crops planted along with it, isn't it? What do we do in the crop area, in the agricultural land? We remove all the weeds, that is extra plants which are of no importance at that particular time for us, isn't it? And then we plant the crops, and time to time we check that no weeds grow around the crops, okay. The main reason for this is just that the nutrients should not be distributed, it should directly go to the crops only, the planted crops only, okay. So if there are weeds everywhere all around, if there are grasses everywhere all around, okay, then most of the nutrients will be absorbed by the grasses or trees. And in some cases it is also seen that the exotic species, they release some sort of toxins which doesn't allow the other plants or animals to come near it, okay, or to grow, in terms of animals to come near it, and in terms of plants to grow around it, okay. Now, what is the cycle of invasion? First, a particular exotic species is introduced in an area, okay. Then first and foremost is it establishes its population, that is, by increasing its number it establishes, okay, over that particular region, okay. And later on the population grows in huge number and it spreads all over the area, okay. So by spreading, I mean not only in a particular field. Suppose by accidentally carrying it is the spores or the seeds are carried to some other different parts, okay, of land, so there also it will start following this same cycle, okay. That is getting introduced into a particular area, getting settled, getting propagated, or you're getting divided into a huge number, thereby resulting in the growth of the population, and then the cycle carries on, okay. Some examples of invasive plant species and invasive animal species are as follows. I put very common examples in these slides, okay. First and foremost is the water hyacinth, that is in Bengali I think it is called as kachuripana or something. So it is native to South America. It was first introduced as an ornamental plant. Most of the exotic plant species were introduced as a result of beautification, ornamentation. Okay, so this water hyacinth, they are native to South America. Okay, they were introduced to Indian aquatic bodies. Okay, and they spread massively. Okay, in the aquatic bodies. This water hyacinth is also known as terror of Bengal because it greatly affected the aquatic population, fish population of the water bodies in which they are found to grow. Okay, now what happens when this sort of water hyacinth grows in a particular area? First and foremost, they obstruct the sunlight from penetrating deeper into the water bodies. Okay, and mostly their roots are of fibrous nature, which is just like the hairs. Okay, getting entangled. Okay, into the fish gills, etc., hampering the uh, growth of the species, other species as well, and the death of the aquatic species. Okay, then next is your Lantana camara. Okay, I think you might have seen this flower in the Kashpur area also, Kashpur region also. Okay, inside the kingdom area there are lots of Lantana camara plants. So these are not native to India, rather they are native to tropical America. Okay, initially it was also brought as a result of ornamentation. Okay, and it was mostly planted in the miniature gardens, but later on it escaped. So how did it escaped? It doesn't have this legs and all. The plants don't have this legs or movement. How do they escape? Mainly in the form of spores, or mainly the bees which comes for taking nectar or the sweet substance from the flowers. They involve in the pollination of that flower. Okay, and that is the dispersal of the seed for reproduction purpose, and thereby the spread of this flower took place in the entire region of our country. Next is your Parthenium grass, which is native to North America. Okay, and it is found throughout the India. Now, water cabbage, mostly it is the origin is not certain, but it was first noticed in the Victoria Lake. Okay, from Nile, near the Victoria Lake in Africa. Hence, it is also called as Nile cabbage. This is also a type of exotic species which was introduced to India as a result of ornamentation, but later on it drastically took over the aquatic region of our countries. Okay, mostly the wetland areas, etc. It is found in almost all the tropical and subtropical region of our country. Invasive animal species. First is your African apple snail. I think you might have seen this snail. Okay, in and around your area. So mostly this is native to Africa. It was first seen in Andaman and Nicobar Islands, but now it is found almost everywhere in the country. Now, the second one is your papaya mealybug. Okay, you can see the bug coming out of that cocoon type of structure. Okay, mostly they affect the papaya plants. Okay, hence they are known as papaya mealybug. They are native to Mexico. Okay, their center of origin is Mexico, and they are found to destroy. They are destroyed a number of papaya crops in Assam, West Bengal, and Tamil Nadu. Next is your cotton mealybug. Okay, this is a bug which affects the cotton plants. Mostly it affects the cotton crops of the Deccan area of our India. Now these are mostly native to the North America. Now Amazon shellfish catfish. So this species is responsible for destroying the first population in the wetland of Kolkata. Okay, it is the Amazon species. Okay, you can see in the picture. Okay, it has a cat-like this physical appearance, hence it is named as catfish. Okay, and it has a fin which is just like equivalent to that of the sail. Okay, or sail of a boat. So hence the name Amazon sailfin catfish. Okay, and they are mostly responsible for destroying the fish population in the wetlands of Kolkata area. Now, what are the advantage and disadvantage of invasive species? So, mostly the advantage are seen in the negative context. Okay, that is the inhabiting a particular area, obtaining the nutrition of that region, and preventing the growth of other native organisms in that area. Okay, but we can, on the other hand, on the contrary, we can see that the butterflies, as I said, they obtain the nectar from the Lantana camara plant. Okay, so you can see here the butterfly in the picture, it is obtaining the nectar from this particular plant species, so it is getting food at least, okay, from this exotic species. So I think this is an advantage, isn't it? Okay, alien trees help restore the abundant pastures in, okay, alien trees, they helps to restore a particular ecosystem. Okay, as for example, you can see there is a picture of heavenly tree in the uppermost picture portion of the slide. Okay, this is commonly known as heavenly tree, and this particular tree is an exotic species. Okay, and this particular tree is planted in a barren area. Okay, it may restore the ecosystem. Okay, in a dry area, in a dryland area, if it is cultivated, planted, then it may restore the particular ecosystem. Okay, and the zebra mussels, they help to filter the toxins. Zebra mussels, you can see in the picture. Okay, they help to this absorb the toxin from the water bodies. Okay, mostly the lead, okay, type of toxins. Ecosystem restoration and pollution and pollination. Okay, as pollination means the transfer of pollen grains from the flower male plant to the female plant. Okay, as a result of which the growth of individual increases, the number of individual increases. Okay, now on contrary, we can say the exotic species, they affects our economy. Okay, in regards of the non-utilization or non-usefulness of a particular exotic species. Mainly the exotic species, they are negative in their activities. Okay, up to now we can say. Okay, as for example, this Lantana camara, it drastically affects the animal health when being eaten. Okay, mostly the cattle, when they eat the plants, they are found to face various sorts of health issues. Okay, so in this regard, and some of the plant species are known to have good effect. Okay, so in this regard, we can see this invasive species in the context of viewing it, okay, depends whether it is good for us or whether it is not good for us. Okay, and as of now, this invasive species, they are drastically affecting our economy. Okay, that is, it is resulting in the loss of the cash crops, loss of the fish populations in aquatic bodies, which is directly leading to the loss of economy of our country or a particular individual. So what are the prevention measures? So mostly the preventive measure includes the awareness, knowledge about the invasive species. Okay, preventing the invasive species, okay, is a major concern, and it is not practically possible to prevent all the invasive species from a particular area in a limited time period. Okay, so because in one way or the other, might not be the plant, but the spores might get transferred to different part. Okay, and then there the plant may grow, isn't it? So what we need to do, first we need to aware ourselves and others about the ill consequences of the invasive species. Then we should have proper knowledge about the plants. Okay, so about which type of plants are invasive and which are not, that is the identification level, right? We should be able to identify. If we have the knowledge, obviously we'll be able to identify, okay, the particular species, which particular species is invasive and which is not. And after then, what we can do, we can obstruct or we can reduce the spread of this particular invasive species by applying various measures. However, practically it is not possible to a 100% or full extent. Okay, so such as with stopping, you should not bring some exotic species from outside and plant it in your own garden for beautification also, because someday or the other that number may increase drastically and affect the entire ecosystem of your particular area. They're killing various sort of important native species. Okay, now alternatively, if we look into the management prospect of this invasive species, what we can do, we know as winter approaches, we need this energy, right, heat energy for keeping ourselves warm, isn't it? So what we can do, we can just cut all those invasive species, okay, and then we can burn it, okay. That will solve the purpose of keeping ourselves warm, instead of cutting down the woods from the forest, okay, the native woods from the forest area. This is one thing which we can do. And again, the second thing is, we can use the various type of woods for construction purposes from the exotic species, okay. So if you are to deforest a particular area, why not go and deforest by targeting the exotic species? In this regard, you will keep a check in their growth, isn't it? So I think these are some of the factors which can be used alternatively, so as to keep the check on the spread of this invasive species, okay. So this sort was for today, and in the upcoming video lecture we shall be dealing with the last topic, that is conservation of biodiversity, okay. So I've put all the concepts in the slides, okay, along with the pictures, just so that you can have a clear-cut idea about the concepts, okay. It won't be tough for you, because I have restricted and precisely I have put all this context, okay. You can elaborate this context with a number of examples, with a number of materials which you can add, okay. Okay, but so that initially it is not very much what to say, tough for you or confusing type for you. I have put all the materials in a very precise manner along with various pictures, so that it is easily understandable for you, okay. So in case you would like to know something more about the various matters which you have discussed here, you may contact me in my WhatsApp contact number, okay. So that's all for today, and thank you very much.